Army.
Oh, he was in the Army.
And never out of the country.
Oh.
But he was old enough because he was the same age as Larry. And
He's in the Coast Guard?
he started out in the Coast Guard.
Oh.
And from there was sent to Texas with the Army, or it could have been the other way around. But at any rate, he never was in the actual war.
Yeah.
And today's the big,
Big right?
it just makes me think of you and Omaha Beach.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. Second wave, right? Army Air.
I was supposed to be in the 6th wave. But you know, when we were circling, they came along and they said, go in now where they need you.
Oh.
So that made us feel good. Go in now where they need you.
So what wave was that? Was it about the
I
same?
don't know, they kind of, it was probably the 4th maybe, I don't know
So
exactly.
you were ahead of time, yeah.
Yeah, because you know, you're waiting for so many boats to get in,
Yeah.
so they go in together. So
Did
they
you
were
get
circling,
wet?
waiting for the boats to. But we went in,
Graham, did you
I
get,
would guess the 4th wave, probably somewhere around there.
Graham, did you get wet or did your equipment get wet?
Oh, yeah.
It did.
Oh, yeah, they let us off in the water.
Does it work then?
What?
Do your guns work after they get in the water? Or did you keep your guns up?
The guns were covered
They were covered.
with, I don't know, with plastic or something so that they didn't get wet.
Okay.
And the guns that you were carrying
Yeah.
was covered with plastic?
Well, they had some kind of cover over them so that they wouldn't get wet.
Oh my goodness, that was thinking ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That will always be as clear to you as if it just happened a short time ago, won't it? It was such an outstanding experience for you. I would imagine it's still just as fresh as if it just happened.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. There's parts of it that are like that. Oh, yeah, yeah.
How deep was the water when you got off the ship?
Oh, probably 6 or 8 feet.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh. Ooh.
You
So you
had to
did stand a
swim in.
chance of drowning
You
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
walk
we-
in then.
I hope everybody could swim.
with all that
And
gear
with all
on
that
too.
equipment.
It's
Well, you can't swim with.
Well, now I'll take that back. I don't think it was 8 feet. It probably was 5 or 6.
Should be.
You're
I don't
tall.
recall standing up.
right.
I mean, I had to swim. Well, I really.
Yeah.
I was carrying. What do you call those things? You
Duffel bag, rucksack.
looking for landmines?
Oh,
What do they
detectors,
call
metal
those?
detectors, or
Metal detectors.
Yeah.
It was in like a suitcase.
Uh-huh.
Some kind of sweeper.
Pretty heavy.
And I held on to that for dear life.
Whoa.
Yes.
But the strange thing is, after we got on the beach, there was one tank, small tank, it wasn't a big tank. And the captain, our captain, Captain Holmstrom, got behind that tank. And I got in right behind him or beside him. And I went just a short distance behind that tank, and I says to myself, this tank is a target.
Yeah.
So I veered off to the left and went, well, I don't know, maybe from here to the main road down there. And we got down behind a little wall. Well, what I'm getting at is, I believe I'm the first person that saw him alive behind that tank.
Oh.
And I was also the first person that recognized him floating in with the tide.
Oh, yes.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was shortly after that, and I talked with the guy beside me, and he says, that's the captain, we know it is. And it wasn't but a few minutes later, one of the lieutenants came by. He wanted to know if we'd seen the captain. And I said, I think that's him floating in. He said, no it isn't, no it isn't. And finally he recognized him.
Oh my.
And he told me and another guy to go down and help him in, pull him in. Well, we went down and he was a big man anyway. And he was soaking wet, you know, and with his equipment and everything. We were right out in the open.
Yeah.
So I said to my buddy there, I said, we can't move him, we'll get back. So we just left him right there. But,
Yeah.
you know, the two captains, the captain's bars,
Yeah.
there was a bullet hole right between those captain's bars.
No.
What a coincidence.
They were a target.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, he says his helmet was still on. And there was
His helmet was still
a
on.
bullet hole right between those two captain's bars. Okay, enough of that.
But you didn't take any injury that day. You got injured a few days later, is that right?
Yeah, I was, this, of course, this was June 6th,
Mm-hmm.
and I got in, I think it was July 14th that I got wounded. So I really didn't go through, and I wish I could have gone with my rest company all through the war. They saw a lot.
I bet.
They saw a lot of action, but they saw a lot of the country too, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which company was that?
29th Division.
Tell us about Liberty in London.
Was that in the hospital?
No.
Oh,
No.
before I got in the
I-
hospital.
Oh.
I
This
think
is
he had
before-
a
I
This is
heard
before
that
the
part.
invasion.
he had a London sweetie, I'll bet.
Yeah.
You been to London, have you?
Many times.
Have you ever been to Covent Garden?
Yes.
They used to have dances there during the war.
Ah.
7 days a week. The orchestra was in the center. You dance around the orchestra.
Ah.
Do you have anybody to dance with?
There was lots of girls.
Oh.
The British guys are all gone overseas.
Of course.
Oh, gosh.
Was that Lee?
What's that?
Was that Lee? Was her name Lee?
No,
Rose?
Rose.
Rose. Oh, Rose. I'm sorry. I got her mixed up with Lee.
My husband.
Yeah, I was standing with my buddy. We were watching them dance, you know. And he says, hey, Mac. Because they all call me Mac. So look at that little chink over there. Probably 20, 30 feet away was this girl. You could tell she was part Chinese or something, you know, different.
Asian.
But she was pretty. And this Andy Bernardi, he was from Milford. He was always one ahead of me. But this time I stepped back and I walked around and I asked her to dance. So next time he saw me, I was going to go with her. Then he went and got her girlfriend that was with her. But like I've told you, she was one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Yeah.
And I dated her when I got a furlough or weekend pass a few times. Yeah.
And you told me the story because I had told you about my husband's experience in London with Rosemary.
Rosemary.
That brought up Rose. Yeah. He kept Rosemary's picture all his life.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you brought it in,
I
showed it to him.
brought the pictures in yeah,
You
to show you.
showed it to him.
Yeah.
Hmm.
She was a nice, beautiful girl. Yeah. Those were before we were married, right?
This is before I was single and no, I wasn't engaged.
Yeah.
When I left Catherine, the last time I saw her, I told her that I wanted her to feel free to date, and I wanted to feel free to date. We weren't engaged.
Okay.
In fact, when I went overseas or in the service, I didn't think we'd ever be married. I wasn't. There was 6 years difference between us. I was 6 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a 6 years that was the main thing. I thought a lot of it, there's no question about that. But there was that 6 years difference.
That's a big difference.
It is
especially that
it is
way.
quite a little
Yeah.
difference, yeah.
Well, you were older.
No.
No, she was 6 years older than me.
Oh, the other way, yeah.
What do they
Yeah,
call
that
them,
is
cougars?
unusual.
Cougars.
Huh? Is that
Cougar.
what they call them, cougars?
Cougar. That's it.
Cougars.
She was a cougar.
She was
Oh,
a
I don't
cougar.
know.
A cougar.
We didn't know it then.
Oh, that's
I never
funny.
heard that word, but
Boy, they didn't have that word.
I didn't hear it till I got down here at the round table. There's a lot of stuff around here.
I never heard of the word myself.
Oh, see, we're teaching you all we
No,
know.
she, but you know, she wrote to me all through the war. And then we got going together again when I was back. And we ended up. And it was a good marriage.
Catherine is a lovely lady.
She was. I never heard her say a word against anybody.
Oh, good.
We never had an argument. Everything, we had a good.
That is amazing. You never had an argument.
No, we never did.
Oh,
We didn't have an argument.
marriage made in heaven.
You never had an argument with your husband, did you?
Of course. Lots of them.
Oh.